Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Wednesday, November 5, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, woman's body spent 2 days in closet. Residents recall hurricane victims' final moments. Patricia Dillon was beside herself and appeared to be in a daze when the news spoke with her last Friday. Her face was stained with tears and her bandaged leg was smeared with dirt. The gash of her leg is not only a painful reminder of her near-death experience with Hurricane Melissa, but the death of her daughter, Natisha Cummings, who was not so lucky in escaping the storm's wrath. She and her boyfriend lived in the house, but the house came down. She and her boyfriend live in the house, but the house came down. All of we house come down, and we start run, but the zinc fly and chop her up bad, she said. News of Cummings' untimely death has extended far beyond her Ferris Westmoreland home to other sections of the island. The 32-year-old mother of two died after she was injured by sheets of zinc as she and others tried to seek refuge at a house after theirs collapsed. Easton Boise Bennett, a close friend of the family, said he watched in horror as the woman whom he had known all his life bled profusely. By this time, the roof of the house, to which they had run for rescue, was also being ripped away by the hurricane's wind. When she run come in, me hear the rest of the guys bawl out say Zing chop up Punsi, and it no look like she a go make it. When me go look, me see say she get a chop on her leg, and it go straight down her bone. She get a next one on her hand, and the guys them take her and put her in the clothes closet, Bennett said. As he stared at her in disbelief, Bennett said he called out her name, hoping to get a response, but Cummings did not budge. She never move, and she a bleed and me say, Punsi, but she not talk. Me feel her pulse, and she not breathe. I just so me know she really not gonna make it. So me tell my brethren say we're gonna have to find a way to report it, he said. Cummings' body remained in the house for another 2 days before it was removed to the morgue on Thursday. The whole time she was in the house, a whole heap of people go and look on her body. We feel a way say her body was there so long, but we know say because of the storm why them never come take her out. Punsi just did so and leave her 2 children them. Punsi a one nice little girl. Me know her all my life, you know, and to see her just gone like that, it hard, he said. Pedro Cays, a fisher folk lucky to survive storm. 17 people who refused to leave the Pedro Cays ahead of Hurricane Melissa's wrath are lucky to be alive after the storm flattened most of the fishing camps and even damaged the Jamaica Defense Force outpost on the tiny island. It mashed up bad out there, all the JDF camp, the top lift up and drop on the Cays, one fisherman told the news. It is alleged that when the winds and waves began to tear through the Cays, the 16 men and 1 woman who stayed behind sought refuge at the JDF base, but when that structure failed, they had to run for safety at a dome owned by the Fisheries Division. Lucky them no lose them life. Them decide say them nah leave, the fisherman said. He explained that although he chose to stay at home on the mainland, he has been keeping tabs on his camp and friends out on the Cays. Some of the camp them drop flatter ground, some of them blow off. Men still standing, but it gets shake up, and most of them mash up. Now for my friend them over there tell me what go on, and them a build back, he said. According to him, rebuilding will not be too difficult. Our structure them over Pedro not too expensive, just couple posts and ply. The ply might be the most expensive thing to buy, he reasoned. Still, he said, experience taught him to stay put at this time. A long time me in the water, so me know when to stay in my yard. Me not have no reason to risk my life, he added. Them are experienced fishermen and women, so them know the risk and dangers of hurricane. Businesswoman Shernet Linton, who operates in both Party St. Elizabeth and on the Cays, said the hurricane left deep emotional and physical scars. I did some repair recently on my shop, so it good. Nothing much no do it, and thank God no life was lost over there. But here in Party St. Elizabeth, oh my God man, I have to put my grandbaby them on the vehicle top to save them because the water cover we, Linton said. We get terrible damage, my house smash up, the road up here all bust up in 2 and take away 1 house. One man a try to cross it and drown. this after the hurricane passed. Linton praised the rescuers and the donors who stepped in after the storm. But while expressing pride in the community spirit that has emerged, she said the experience has left her traumatized and frustrated that some areas are being overlooked. Parati was hit as hard as Black River and other areas, but is getting little to no attention. But they closed the Pelican Bar. There is no more Pelican. The only thing you can see is the board with the name them carve out tonight, she lamented. NRSC bemoans 3 road deaths in St. Elizabeth. The National Road Safety Council is expressing disappointment that amid the hurricane devastation in St. Elizabeth, the 3 road fatalities recorded so far in November have come from the parish. 2 of the deceased were riding motorcycles and the other was driving a car. The latest incident occurred on the Richmond Main Road about 1 p.m. Monday. The deceased has been identified as 25-year-old Dante Hendricks. Hendricks was reportedly riding his motorcycle from Watchwell toward the mountainside when he lost the control and crashed into a wall. Investigators believe that the speeding may have contributed to the crash. Vice Chairman of the NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, says the hurricane resulted in a temporary pause in road fatalities.
How is it possible for people to be speeding in St. Elizabeth, where all 3 deaths have occurred, is beyond my comprehension. At time when the nation is so stressed about those who have suffered immeasurably, people are speeding in St. Elizabeth, of all parishes. This one is unexplainable. And it really says to us as a nation that unless drastic measures are introduced, our people will go back to the same old bad habits that were exhibited on the roads before Melissa struck.
Clergyman concerned about the psychological damage to hurricane victims. Anglican Diocese Bishop of Jamaica, the Right Reverend Leon Golding, is warning that the psychological damage to the victims of Hurricane Melissa will be a major challenge for the authorities. Reverend Golding, who toured the ravaged communities on the weekend, told the news that the leaders of churches have been meeting to devise a strategy to help those in desperate need.
The Jamaica Council of Churches has had a head of churches meeting with an effort for us to work together in reaching those devastated by the hurricane. As a diocese, our first priority is people and their needs. We are seeking not only to send items to meet their physical needs, but to be present with them to give comfort, to pray with them. There is concern for their well-being and mental state, as many of them would have been traumatized by the experience. The Jamaica Council of Churches is concerned about this, and counselors, therapists, and other professionals have offered their services through the churches. The third area of concern for us as a diocese is the damaged church building. As a diocese, we'll have to be practical about the way forward in repairing and restoring church buildings. Areas where extensive damage has taken place are Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Manchester, St. James, and St. James. Hanover and St. Anne have damage, but not as severe. Other properties, like our children's homes and schools, have been affected by the hurricane. We will assess the level of destruction and damage and determine a way forward.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.